Hey, welcome back to my channel. I'm indie author Jill, and today we're looking at Pearl Fields and the Oregon Meltdown by Drew Faraday. I'm not sure how to explain this, but the story is interesting. The main character is Pearl Fields, and her full name is Pearl Everlasting Crimson Mountain Meadow Celestial Moonshadow Fields. And she becomes quick friends with a guy in her class, Jord Balzac Seaman Johnson Fuchs, and I probably did not pronounce his first name correctly, but it's spelled Njord, and so he just goes by Jordy. And Pearl kind of learns from Jordy how to just kind of let things roll off of her back, because Jordy, with a name like Jordy Fuchs, you're gonna get some flack, especially when your middle names are Balzac, Seaman, and Johnson. And so Jordy, when someone would laugh about his name and say, "Oh, Jordy Fuchs," he would say, "Oh yeah, I would like to, but you're not my type, sorry. Thanks all the same though." And he would just roll with it, and him and Pearl became really good friends until they got to a point where they decided to go ahead and get married. And Jordy is constantly looking out for Pearl and whatever it takes to keep her safe. And he makes a questionable decision. So basically the meltdown, the Oregon Meltdown is, this is shortly after COVID has taken place. And it takes place about 2024, 2025 is when she's telling this story. But she, in 2020, in 2020, obviously COVID happens, and as happens in our reality, eventually COVID, the lockdowns go away. Everybody, the lockdowns and people just find, we kind of went back to normal, to where we're just, living our lives or whatever. The difference is that with COVID, it didn't stop with COVID in this story. In this story, COVID came, the lockdowns happened, everything went back to normal, and then another virus hit that was just as bad or worse than COVID, and the lockdowns happened all over again, and things ended. There was some kind of meteor shower or something happened that knocked out the satellites, that took down the satellite technology that we've become accustomed to. She kind of glosses over that and doesn't spend a whole lot of time talking about that, because for her, all that matters is satellite communication is not what it once was. And as a result, everything is being conveyed, all messages are being conveyed very rudimentarily, like through radio and through word of mouth and travelers coming through and talking about it. There's not a whole lot of the satellite communications going on anymore. And so it's, every time a virus ends, there's a big to-do, everybody gets panicked, and then they learn more about the virus, and then they deal with it, and then things start to go back to normal, and here comes another virus. And this is wave on wave of different things. And so one of the viruses that come down the pike is the Zama virus. And so Pearl and Jordy, the Zama virus is so bad that people are freaking out, people are killing. They don't know they can't find any treatment for it, they can't find any cure for it, they don't know what causes it, they don't know how it's spread, and because of the lack of communication, of getting information back and forth to anybody, it's freaking everybody out. So everybody, it starts to feel like it's happening right here in Oregon, and that's where the biggest pocket of outbreaks is. So everybody's like, we're getting the heck out of Oregon then. And Pearl and Jordy are like, we've weathered everything up to this point. Should we just keep weathering? And eventually they decide, no, we're not going to keep weathering. We're just going to load as much as we can onto the boat and take off downriver, because at that point everything is blocked off. All the main roads are blocked off and they're not letting anybody leave. And the Coast Guard is out on the waters trying to keep everybody from leaving via the waterways. But there are people going out the mountain passes and the back roads and whatnot. And Jordy and Pearl make their run with the new moon when it's real pitch black dark and nobody can see them, and they manage to get past the Coast Guard. And what they encounter is more people like them that are scared, and they're not trusting. People don't trust each other, and originally they had thought, well, we'll just join up with a bigger group and, make ourselves a tribe that we can kind of keep safety in numbers. But as they get through, they realize that they left too late, and so now they are the outsiders and nobody trusts them, and so they realize they have to stick together. It's just the two of them fighting off the world, basically, it feels like, until Jordy gets the virus. And in order to protect Pearl, he packs a few provisions for himself and takes off, leaving Pearl by herself, because he figures it's safer for her to not be with him now that he's contracted the virus than it is to stay with her and let her try to take care of him. And she's a little resentful. She understands why he's doing what he's doing, and says that even in his situation, she would do the exact same thing, but it doesn't make her less upset and less resentful towards him to leave her by herself. And at that point she realizes that what they've been doing, they felt like they were living, and they weren't. They were hiding and they were just surviving. And she gets to a point where she says, you know what, I'm done hiding, I'm done surviving. Everybody else is hiding. Everybody else is keeping themselves secreted away. And that's fine. She's like, they're afraid to expose themselves, so I'm going to expose myself, and I'm going to act like nothing's wrong. I'm going to act like there's no major virus going on and there's no meltdown happening. And she packs up all of her supplies, puts it in her boat, and heads down the river singing Keep on the Sunny Side of Life, and that's how she gets her nickname Sunny. And what she starts doing is, rather than hiding, she starts providing. And she's getting people, if they need, she's helping people get food, she's helping them get bandages, getting medical supplies, getting sutures, getting ammo for their hunting rifles, getting pistols. And because she's the only one running up and down the river, doing whatever she can to help people, the bounty hunters think she's running drugs and big guns, like military grade guns. And she's like, I'm running Advil, okay? I'm running Advil and Benadryl and calamine lotion and sunscreen. That's what I'm running. That's the heaviest drugs I'm running. I'm not running meth and coke and whatever else. And then, like, I think at one, she's like, and as far as the guns, and she's like, it's 22 caliber pistols and rifles and hunting rifles and 12 gauge shotguns, and it's defense and hunting weapons. It's not military grade, I'm arming a militia here. I'm just trying to help people survive. And as she's going up and down these waterways helping people, she's getting them the food, she's making trades and getting people what they need, but she's also helping them out. She's playing a doctor, surgeon. She's patching people up. She's sewing people up. She's helping people give birth. She's helping burying the dead. She's helping treating the sick. You know, everybody looks at her as a lifeline of, we need her because she's helping us survive and getting us what we need. But the government's going to do what government's going to do, and can't have you helping each other. That's a terrible thing. You got to rely on the government for help. You can't help each other. What are you thinking? You know, so she gets arrested, and they're trying to charge her with running drugs and guns and everything, and she's like, no, I'm running, like I said, I'm running 22 caliber hunting rifles and Advil, you know. And she, the story is not told in the same way that a lot of other stories are told, where you're like, well, I mean, just think of any story, really, whether it's told first person or third person or whatever. Pearl Fields in the Oregon Meltdown is not told in that style. What happens is she gets caught, she gets thrown in jail, and her lawyer says, your best bet to avoid the death penalty is to just record a testimony of what happened, you know, from the beginning of the meltdown to you getting caught. Tell that story so that they can see what you were actually doing. And the lawyer gives her a recorder to sit with in her cell, and so she sits there in her cell, and she's talking to the recorder, telling the judge what has transpired, how she met Jordy. She gives a little talk about how about her childhood and her upbringing, and then she goes into her and Jordy settling in Oregon, and how they got to the point of, okay, we're just gonna take off, and how she and Jordy separated, and how they got to a point where she was running up and down the rivers trying to help people, and she points out to the judge, there's not a single thing you would have done differently in my position. I can guarantee it. And like, it's not for not like she admits that she has killed people, and the people she killed, she points out to him, is I killed she kills like 3 or 4 people, and she can tell you exactly when she killed them, why she killed them, and what the situation was in which she killed them. And it was mostly a kill or be killed situation of like one guy tried to attack her, and he was not able to attack her, you know, with a gun, because the gun he had was empty and wasn't loaded. And so, but he was bigger and more powerful than her, so she just kind of used her fighting techniques that she knew to defend herself and get him to a point where she could get him off of her. And it was not going to be a situation where he was going to give up, because he kept, at one point got a hand around her throat, and she basically just shot him in the head. Because that was all she could do. She had done everything else to try and get him off of her and away from her, and says stop attacking her, and nothing was working, so her last resort was shooting him. And not wanting, you know, you're out in the wilderness, you don't know when you're hunting and trapping and fishing to get your food, so you don't want to waste ammo. So she made sure, she's like, I'm not going to waste a bullet. If I have to shoot him, then I'm going to put it in his head, and I'm going to make sure that it's a shot that counts. And I like her personality. I think she's a very likable character, Pearl. But yeah, basically this reads as a transcription from the recording of her recording her testimony. I don't know that I would have acted the same as her, and the deviation point for her and I would have been that point when her husband left her because he was trying to protect her from the virus, and she knew he left because of the virus, because he was infected and he didn't want to run the risk of her being infected. But at that point, she falls into a depression, which I absolutely probably would have done. And she just, other than eating to survive, like, she just kind of goes through the motions. She wakes up, she gets something to drink, uses the restroom, gets something to eat, and for the most part just stays in her tent and hides in her tent and doesn't do anything other than getting herself food or whatever. And definitely would have been me. The divergent point for her and I would have been that there was some carrying on, and Pearl had enough and she blew up at the people and threw some, she had some fireworks or something, and she threw some fireworks off at them to shut them up. And then she decided, I'm done with this. I am done hiding. This is not living. She's like, if I'm going to die, I'm going to die trying to live. You know, so she just packs everything up and she figures, if everybody's hiding, then I'm going to look insane riding down the river singing Keep on the Sunny Side of Life like nothing's happening. And if I look insane, people are going to stay away from me because nobody wants to deal with the crazy chick. And so that's what she does. And I know one thing. If I had made the same decision of, okay, you know what, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die living. And if I would have made the same decision she would have made. I would have been like, okay, I'm gonna get out on the river, I'm gonna act like I'm crazy and just act like nothing's wrong and sing my heart out or whatever, and I'm gonna start helping people. And so if I had made that same decision as Pearl to, all right, I'm done hiding, it's time to get out and do something, then I would have done everything pretty much the same way she did. Every time somebody said, hey, I need some help, I would have helped. Every time somebody attacked me and I thought there was no other way to get out of the situation other than kill or be killed, I would have taken a life. I would have helped people bury someone. I would have helped people, you know, I would have done all the same things she would have done. The question that I have is, would I have made that decision to say, okay, I'm done hiding, it's time to live, or would I just succumb to the depression and just keep hiding until death finally took me? And I don't know that I have the resolve that Pearl had to get up and start living again. Maybe I do, and I severely underestimate myself, and maybe I don't. I don't know. But the long and short of it is that regardless of whether or not I would have had the same resolve as Pearl, she's definitely an admirable character, and you definitely feel like you want to root for her. And as you're reading through the transcript of her recording her testimony, you're sitting there thinking, man, this judge better not, you know, he better not overlook this, and better, he had better really listen and be a good judge of this situation. And you really want Pearl to come through in the end. And because it reads as a transcript, you get to the end of the transcript and it's just her, you know, the end of her testimony, and you never find out whether or not she was released, or if they sentenced her to death, or if the guard she has a beef with ended her, or whatever. You're really not sure what happened, but it leaves it off in a way that you're satisfied. You don't feel like you've been cheated. You don't feel like you feel like you've gotten her whole story, and you can kind of the writer Drew Faraday leaves it up to you as the reader to decide for yourself what happened, whether she was released or sentenced regardless, or I highly doubt that. I know Pearl goes on and on about her guard being kind of a not a great person, and just being mean and menacing and whatnot, but she doesn't seem terribly afraid of her. And you get that at the end when the guard comes in and tells her, the guard basically comes to take the recording from her. Like, basically, your time's up, we need the testimony, or whatever. But basically the guard comes to get the, what Pearl calls the recording gizmo, and you hear Pearl's side of the exchange of her giving lip to the guard and like, yeah, right. Everything's a weapon to you. What do you think we are, ninjas? You know, and she's kind of, the end of the recording is her trying to help the guard, tell the guard what to hit to turn the gizmo off, because it's still recording. And so the guard is trying to figure out how to turn it off, and Pearl is guiding her on how to turn it off. And you can tell by the exchange, even if you don't get the guard's side of the recording, you get Pearl's side of the recording, and you can tell that Pearl, despite saying that this guard gives her the heebie-jeebies or whatever and makes her skin crawl, she's not really afraid of her. So, yeah. I don't know what else to say really about the book, other than like I would buy it again. You know, I'm not, because I've already read it. But I really enjoyed how she got into different situations, and how she got out of them. I like how she really gives a personality to the different people that she met up and down the way, and how there's like one guy that he made sure she had stuff to make a cake for her birthday. You know, so she's trading different things back and forth between people to get the things she needs for other people, and even some things for herself. And so when she, like I said, and these people they're forming a community even if they're not together, because you got this guy on this side of the river, and you got this guy on this side of the river, and this person over on this other side of the ridge, and they're all connected through Pearl. And she keeps them together in a way, the way she keeps them together as a community between everybody is really, like I said, it's what makes her such an admirable character. And the people that she meets along the way, of course I told you about her husband, Jordy, but he kind of disappears somewhat, what'd she say, like a month or two after everything happened, and she spent 4 years by herself running up and down that river helping people, and she got to where she made a lot of friends on that river, and the people that she met and interacted with, and how she interacts with, and how she organizes trades between one to the next, and how she delivers messages back and forth. And like I said, it makes for an admirable character. And And I can't really say much more about it than that. But I will leave a link to the book in the description below. And I will leave the address if you guys want to send any self-published books to me. Like, I buy most of the books. I think I've had 2 books that have actually been sent to me. I have not done reviews for them yet, but one of them I did do. One of them was the second book of the first. I did the first book. I bought the first book, and the author sent me the second book in the series. I haven't gotten around to reviewing that one for this year because I wanted to try and give as many different indie authors and self-published authors a chance to be reviewed and featured to get them out there. But if you have, if you are an author who has not yet been featured on the show, and you have a book that you would like me to review and read and consider for review, by all means, you're welcome to send it. Like I said, I try to find I try to buy as many indie authors and self-published books as possible. The thing is that because of marketing being what it is, a lot of times we don't get to see. I'm not going to be made aware of every single self-published book out there. So, and if you've been following the channel long enough, you know that I don't have a genre preference. So, I will leave the address in the description below as well. Until then, until next time, that's all I've got for you today, so I will see you guys later. Bye!